Well, there was a recruitment agency that found me on LinkedIn, and they actually approached all of my colleagues because of the hotel that I worked in. It's a popular one. It's a world-known chain of hotels, so they knew that we would do well. And there was a lot of hotels from Ireland that actually came to Croatia. And in one of the hotels, they organized like a conference room, and they had multiple hotels, just like kind of they had their HR, if they were looking for a specific, like a chef or someone, then they would have a person from that department as well. But it was mostly HR department that was there from each of the hotels, and they were there in the circle. You had to bring your CV, and then you would speak to them and see, what they're looking for. They would ask you a bit of questions, look at your CV, and then you can get an offer. And the recruitment agency kind of approached me on LinkedIn, asked if I would be interested. And I just thought that it would be interesting, to go there to see what's there on offer, how it looks like. I've never been to Ireland before. So I kind of wanted to see, okay, what are offers there. It didn't cross my mind at all that I'd be moving to Ireland after that. So I went.
Were the interviews hard? Like, were the questions difficult, and did it take a long time to go through all the interviews?
No, like you didn't have to go to all of them. You could have just go to a couple of them. They all had like a banner, and on most of them you could see actually what they were looking for. And they had brochures and things, so you could kind of look through it. And there was a few breaks in between. It was there for like 2 days, and like you could come there and you could be there the whole day.
Were all jobs in Ireland, or were other countries included as well?
No, it was only Ireland. Yeah. So the recruitment agency has decided they've done only hotels in Ireland for that session. And it was interesting. There was a lot of hotels, a lot of different places from most of those towns I've never heard of, especially the one that I chose as well. But there were other smaller places as well. And it was interesting how it really shown how it matters to them from where you come from. So I worked in a Hilton at that time in Zagreb, and
double trip at Hilton.
Yes.
With the cookies.
Yes. And it really meant them, that they saw, okay, a Hilton, nice, that's a, world-known hotel chain. So they were kind of all wanted to speak to me because out of my colleagues, there was only 2 people from the hotel that came to those interviews as well with me. And one of them was a trainee at the time. So after the first round of talks, we had a break. I went to get some food and everything. It's been a long day. I came from a night shift, and
oh my God,
I was going to a night shift again that day.
Oh my God.
So I only slept for like a few hours to get to those meetings. And I was like, all that trouble, and I'm just going to hear what's going on, what's there outside of Croatia, because I always love to travel. So I wanted to see what are the options. And, it's always good to have contacts, if you even decide to go somewhere, you can, oh, I met you on that. I don't know if you remember me and things like that.
That's smart, yeah.
So when we were coming back from the break and we were waiting to go to the room again to speak to people, the guy from the recruitment agency that actually got in contact with me, he was like, oh, there's a couple of people that were asking to speak with you. Just make sure you go to them. And, they all had my CV. And I was like, wow, okay, this is so interesting. I was there from, I think, 11 o'clock in the morning until about 6 p.m. So it was like a long day, and then I was starting night shift in the evening. So it was a really long day. And then I actually decided to go with the hotel. That was my last interview there. So the lady from the HR office there was the whole day. She was exhausted. I was exhausted. But we kind of just got into chatting and everything. And they actually suited me most, because most of other places were mostly looking for waiters and for housekeeping, and for reception desk it was, I think, only 2 or 3 of them.
So you said they were looking for waiters, housekeepers, and that, what position did you want?
Well, I was working at the reception desk at the time, so I was looking either reception desk because I didn't think that they would take me for another department if I don't have experience, especially bringing someone to another country. I didn't believe that. So I was like, okay, reception desk, that would be nice. I did bartending before reception desk, and I did that for a few years while I was a student. So I worked throughout my college, and I kind of decided I don't want to do that anymore. And then housekeeping, I had some practice work while in high school, but then after that, I didn't do really much there. I could have, of course, it is quite physical work and everything. Keep your weight with that anyway. But yeah, I was kind of looking, I was at the reception at the time, and why I was even why I even considered going on to those interviews was because I was ready to go to the next level, and I was ready to learn more and grow and go further. I didn't want to get stuck there for another couple of years before I go to another level. And at the time at the hotel, I knew where I worked at the moment that they already had people before me that, were already, if they're going to open up the position, it's going to be those people. So you know how it goes.
You would have to wait for a long time to get it.
And that's normal. There was people with more experience before me and that were working there for longer, and that I've learned from. And I understand that me going above them, it's, doesn't make sense. So of course I was ready for that. So I kind of thought, okay, if I explore other options, there might be an opportunity somewhere else for me where I might be someone more experienced. So when I went to those interviews, the last one that I spoke to, the lady was like, oh, we were just talking. There wasn't any talk about what position it is. We were just talking. I was like, yeah, I work at the reception desk and things like that. And we just started chatting, and she asked me a couple of questions. She was looking at my CV, but mostly we were just, chatting away and, how I would react to a problem, how would I solve something, and what I actually do in my job. Because in Croatia, most of reservations department and those offices are open Monday to Friday. So reception desk, when you work there over the weekend, you kind of have to cover for those offices as well. Of course, we're not going to do financing and things like that. That's going to have to wait. But then reservations and things like that, you do cover them over the weekend as well. We learned that part too. So I told her all that, and then she was like, you know what, we actually have an open position. You would be great for a reservations office. I was like, that was in my head, that was my next step, that was my next level, to go there, and then from there, go somewhere else. I was like, wow. I was like, really? And at that point I was like, wow, you got me there, because it's a position higher. And it was a position higher than what I was doing at the time. And I was like, okay, I didn't actually work in a reservation office. I do know how to do reservations and things like that, but every hotel has its own system, so it's different. You have to learn everywhere, everything new. So I was really impressed, and I was shocked. I was like, wow, this is something new. I was like, she already started writing to me, this is what we can offer you from the salary. And she even gave me a number for a lady from Croatia that already worked in that office. Everyone else was Irish. There were 2 Croatian ladies that worked there, and she gave me for one of them a number. She's like, give her a call, see how she finds working there, and talk with her. They even talked about that they offer accommodation for employees as well. And there was so many information, and there was an amazing offer. I was like, wow. And then I was like, where is the hotel? And then she told me, and I was like, okay. I was like, never heard of the place, but I never heard of half of them there. So I was like, I'll Google. We ended the conversations, and I had to go to work for another night shift. And I was a bit overwhelmed, with all the information that I got. And it was very interesting. I didn't know what to do at that time. So I kind of just, had a sleepover. They said that who they want to go with, that they'll send offers and contact people the next day. So I knew I had to wait for the next day anyway. So I was kind of thinking about it through, for the rest of the time. And at the time on the interviews before my last one, I did get another offer there as well. Straight on the spot, there was a lady from an HR office and a lady and that was actually one of the owners of the hotels. And it was also like a family group of hotels, family-owned group of hotels, the same as the one that I chose at the last interview. And they wanted someone on the reception desk. So they said they're looking for a receptionist, and for them, they always have a night porter. So women normally don't work night shifts, but they're like, you have experience, you work them, even if you need to, if it needs cover, we know that you have the experience and you can. And it was also a smaller place, and they were really, you could see on them that they really wanted me. And I felt amazing. I haven't experienced that in Croatia. And it was amazing seeing that someone, outside in another country really wants to bring you into their country to work with them, for them. And it was an amazing experience. I felt amazing, and my confidence grew like way up the top. And they said, if you get other offers, just think about it. Or like, just don't turn us down before you talk to us. They said we're ready to offer competitive to negotiate and offer competitive salary. They're like, we can offer you more than someone else is offering to you. And I was like, wow, so I could have gone way well there. And it was an amazing offer, and I really loved them. They sounded so nice.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the full version, go to the Uncle Gold Podcast YouTube channel or watch the next clip.